So a female leopard sets up a territory that is a home range but which she defends from other members of the same sex. So she doesn't tolerate other members of the same sex in that area. But it's not quite as clear-cut as that because, as you can see by the schematic, the diagram here, there is typically quite a lot of overlap. And that's because there has to be a balance between the amount of area the leopard needs to satisfy her requirements, her energetic requirements, and those of raising her cubs, which is usually a fairly large area that she can't defend all the time from all other female leopards. So this is the general pattern, where you have females establishing exclusive, in inverted commas, territories, but with quite a lot of overlap at the edges. And they set up a model which the biologists have called the dear enemy model. That is, it's better to tolerate the enemies that you know on your boundaries if you're all adhering to the same agreement. That is, you don't go out of your way to kill one another. You don't go out of your way to intrude more deeply into the territory. So it's better the enemy that you know than the one you don't. Because if you exert a lot of effort in getting rid of that enemy, maybe the one who comes through next time is much worse and you're in a much poorer place. So females set up these territories, a core area which is exclusive, quite a lot of overlap at the edges, and the size of these territories is dependent upon that key resource, the prey availability. So, for example, this leopard, which is one of my study cats, has a very small home range size, territory size of only about 35 square kilometres, but her analogue in much more arid habitats, say in the Kunene region of northeast Namibia where they've been well studied, or in the Kalahari, can have a territory size of about 600 square kilometres. And that's directly related to prey availability because prey in those more arid habitats occurs at much lower densities and is much more widely dispersed. Okay, so that's the female model. What do you do if you're a male? Well, males, of course, are also interested in resources, but the key resource that they're after is females. They're driven, of course, to reproduce as much as possible, as all species are. And so they go out of their way to set up a territory that encompasses as many of the resources they're interested in, which in this case are female territories. So if you're a big strapping bruiser like this male from Namibia here with the scrappy ears, and he's been in a few stoushes in his lifetime and he knows his way around, he potentially can establish quite a large territory where he sets out, not consciously, but he sets out to encompass as many female territories as possible. And just like the female defending her home range from other females, he defends them from other males. Now, if you're a slightly younger guy, you're a little bit new on the block, this bloke on the right was about 4 years old when I photographed him, which is about the age at which leopards are big enough and strong enough and perhaps experienced enough to inherit or take over their own territory. But he's not nearly as experienced and as strong and virile as the chap on the left. So he ends up securing a territory, but it's a little bit smaller perhaps.